Hey everybody, Damon D here, and today it's my honor and pleasure to have Old Painless all the way from Manchester in the UK. How's everybody doing this evening?
All good. Thank you very much for having us.
Awesome, thanks for doing it. And so, what I want you guys to do now is just introduce yourselves and what instrument you play.
I'm Andy, I play the bass.
I'm Dave, I'm the vocalist of sorts.
I'm Lewis and I attempt to play the drums.
Give the audience a sense of who Old Painless is and what kind of music you guys play.
Okay, so I guess you would say we're sort of somewhere in between like the stoner rock, stoner metal sort of music sound. Um, Old Painless is named after the massive machine gun out of Predator, the film, the best film ever made. So yeah, basically, yeah, we just try to write sort of good feeling stoner rock music, and yeah, we just try to see where we can go from where we are at the moment, basically.
Okay, and then from an influence perspective, who are Lewis, who are some of your influences? And how do you guys kind of navigate the different influences of the band members to create a specific type of sound?
Again, my influences might be a slightly different to these guys in that I'm more of a kind of Foo Fighters, Queens of the Stone Age kind of influence, whereas these guys are a bit more heavier than mine, I guess. But this is the first band I've played in, so it's been interesting seeing those styles kind of come together, and some of the songs that we've created now have kind of come into their own, I guess, style-wise.
So I wasn't aware of Stoner Rock before I was part of this band, but oddly, so I like the Fall, the Stooges, Chrome, Can, that kind of thing, and there's a big crossover actually. In fact we were just listening to a playlist of music that the Stoner Rock that Dave likes, and Can came on randomly, so there's a kind of there's a link.
Yeah, and then from a vocal perspective, where do you get your kind of inspiration and influence from?
My biggest vocal inspiration is it's very like it's easy and it's obvious. My biggest vocal inspiration is Phil Anselmo. One of my favorite bands is Pantera. And vocally, like what he did with Down and stuff like that is like a huge part of what led me to want to do vocals and stuff. Previously, I was a guitarist and a bass player in other bands, but like I really like blues styles of music and stuff like that. And what Phil Anselmo did with blues sound into the whole metal crossover sort of thing was really what pushed me into wanting to do that sort of things. As a vocalist, straight up is he was the biggest influence for me as far as a vocalist goes. But I take a lot of influences from different areas, different bands and stuff like that. Like I like really soulful music, so like I like a lot of old school Delta blues and stuff like that. It might not come through in what we're doing at the moment, but that's kind of what drove me to want to do what we're trying to do at the moment. So yeah, that's where most of my background comes from.
And so, from someone who has been a guitar player and a bass player, but is not now, someone who has never been in a band before, and then someone who likes the Stooges, how did you guys all get to? Because it seems like there's a lot of different factors that would be. I can't speak for the guitar player because he's not here, but like, how did that come together? Just the band itself.
So the first practice that we ever had together was me and Lewis. We like I'd been in bands for a long time and hadn't done one for a while at that time. And I was like, listen, it's the most difficult person to find is a drummer for a band. I went round to his house one day with my guitar. And I had a song that I wrote maybe like 20 years ago, like that long ago. And I played him a bit of this song, which is Deep and Wide off our demo. I played that to him and he sat there, he played the drums and that sort of thing. We enjoyed doing it. And we're like, you know what, let's try and do something. Let's try and make something of this band. So Nathan, our guitarist, who's not here today, like I was in an old band with him called Blastronaut. He said, like, well, I said, I know a guy who's perfect for this job. We pulled him in. We had another practice together. We just sat down together and we went through this one song. We had another song that kind of came off the back of that. And Lewis kind of out of that said, I know a guy who plays bass. Like let's see how it goes with him. He brought Andy in. And then it was just before the whole COVID thing happened. We all got together in a room. We did like two, three songs together that we just sort of, threw together. It just seemed to work like really perfectly. The personalities there. Just we were all on the same plane. We were all on the same wavelength and stuff. So from there, that's where it all kicked off. And then we've just kept on moving since then. So
Wow, that's a really interesting story how that takes place, especially because you play guitar but don't play guitar now. So
uh,
are you playing guitar at all? Because there's times on the demo where it sounds like either it's double tracked guitar or overdubs. So are you playing guitar? And then the follow-up question is, are you writing the songs on guitar but just not playing on the recording?
So no. So the first two songs that we practiced were two songs that I wrote a long, long time ago. Like I say, so the main riff to the first track off the demo, Deep and Wide, is a riff that I wrote like about 20 years ago. The last track off the demo, Rusty Hammer, is a song that I wrote with an old band of mine, again about 20 years ago. So it's like a reworking of that. So I say I play guitar, but I'm not a guitarist. I never have been. I just happen to be able to play guitar at some point in my life. But so we kind of put that together. So at the moment, like I don't play any guitar or anything. I do have a little bit of an input. Yeah, on the demo, it's mostly double tracked because we're currently working on getting another guitarist in the band. So yeah, it's more from a production point, it's double tracked up on the demo, but you don't look at me for guitars because that'll never happen again, probably.
Yeah, and I was going to say that's interesting because some of the riffs are really good. So somebody knows how to play guitar.
That'd be
They're
Nathan.
yeah.
That
I
would be
mean,
Nathan, yeah.
it's really good. He has I don't know if it sounds like he's using a Marshall. He's got a really kind of old
Yeah,
school,
yeah.
almost 80s crunch, almost metal sounding to it, and it's mic'd really well, so it sounds really good. And we're going to talk about Fleetfooted Mankiller because that's the riff right there. Like that's the kind of sounds like almost metal in the beginning and then changes a little bit. But I think with the hooky chorus, that's a really great song that I think a lot of people could grab onto. Because when you say, maybe stoner metal or things like that, you might think of like a slowed down riff, grinding kind of thing, but it's really, kind of high tempo and in your face, and it's really good. That's a really good track. What was the idea behind putting the four songs out? Are you trying to get a record deal, or is this the first step in something bigger, or was it just for fun? Or let's give the audience an idea of kind of the idea behind these four songs.
Oh, God. It was a bit of it's kind of as we've gone along the journey. Obviously, I'd never played in a band before. Playing with Dave was the first person really I'd played with. I've always been a bedroom drummer and never really had any aspirations to do that kind of stuff. So when we got together and we did our first couple of jams and then eventually brought Andy in and we went starting going to our practice rooms and coming through some of these songs. We didn't really have any like aspirations to do as such. We just wanted to get together and play some songs together. So Nathan is the guy who's done all of our recording and all of the mixing. He's quite good at that and really enjoys doing that. So it was kind of as we've come through, we've got the four songs kind of where we want them to be. It was like, well, let's record them and then see where that goes. So we've recorded them now, kind of pushed them out. We've started playing gigs. So there were no real plans for anything above that. Really. I don't know really now where I want to go with it, but I'm just enjoying playing music with these guys and playing live now. So I don't know if the plan is for wide releases or
For
World,
my
world domination.
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
like from my point of view, like I've been in bands since I was like 15, 16,
Sure,
little bits and bats here and there, and the thing I always loved doing was playing live gigs. It's I don't think any of my previous bands were ever about the whole world domination thing. Like maybe we thought at the time or whatever, but
sure.
like there's nothing better than getting on stage with like three, four, five of your friends or whatever, and just belting out the best of what you've put together and stuff like that. And I think that's what we've done since we formed and since we started playing gigs and stuff. It's like now kind of feel like, maybe there is something more that we can just, these 4 songs are just the start of something, like a springboard towards doing something. I think we're all looking towards like the next step to, playing with like bigger bands and stuff like that. I mean, we're still very grounded and doing small things, but I think as far as aspirations go at the moment, it's just about like, keep on doing what we're doing, enjoying doing what we're doing, and then, take on the good times that, whatever come our way.
Hope other people like it.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll carry on regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
whether or not people like it, then that's their fault.
yeah, that's pretty funny. Okay, so let's talk about track 2, Fleetfooted Mankiller. What's kind of the inspiration for the song? And then what I'll do is we'll play a clip for the audience so they can kind of hear what's the inspiration for the either the lyrics or the music for that song.
So that song was originally written. I remember hearing that song a long, long time ago. So, like I say, me and Nathan used to be in a band together, like 10 years ago. And I remember hearing that riff. He played it at practice and stuff like that. It never became a song for our old band. And then when we got together and we got 2 songs going, and then Nathan was like, okay, what about this one? And he brought it back to the fore sort of thing, played it, we built it into a song between us. So it's something that Nathan, our guitarist, built from the ground up. He already had that in his mind and stuff. So lyrically, it's about Achilles. So like the Greek sort of legend or whatever you would call it, like the Greek folklore. It's about Achilles, and Nathan had written that song from the floor up, like I say, and yeah, he just brought that as kind of like something to layer on top of what we already had going. So Nathan wrote all the guitar parts to it. He wrote all the lyrics to it as well, and we just sort of we jumped on that.
Great, that's fantastic. So what we're going to do now, everybody, is we're going to play a track 2, Fleet-Footed Mankiller. Check it out. All right, that was Fleet-Footed Mankiller. I bet that blew your doors off, everybody. That's a great track. I'm here with Old Painless from Manchester in the UK, and we're talking about their new demo 4-track demo songs that are out as of April 5th. Let's talk about track 3, which is just another piece of bad luck. And one of the things I liked about this one was kind of that atmospheric kind of guitar delay. It has harder kind of riffs, but it also has this kind of atmospheric heaviness, is how I call it. So, how did that song kind of come about?
So, just another piece of bad luck was like the first song that we wrote together. So, like I say, Deep and Wide and Rusty Hammer were 2 songs from a long time ago. Fleetfooted Mankiller again was a song that I recognized from quite a long time ago that Nathan put together. But just another piece of bad luck was like probably the first piece of music that between the 4 of us that we all sort of had like an input to. Again, Nathan is the main driving musical force.
So it's a riff machine, isn't it?
Yeah,
a riff machine.
Like when we get together in a room, like one of us can go out for a smoke or to the toilet, and by the time we come back, Nathan's already got like 4 or 5 other riffs that he's put together, and that's how it comes about. So So yeah, so Nathan sort of put that song together pretty much in one practice.
Wow.
And it's in a bit more of the direction where I kind of see the rest of the band and the songs going. We're becoming a little bit more explorative as far as like, our music writing process and stuff like that goes. Some of the stuff that we started off was quite ABC desert stoner rock sort of stuff. Nathan's brought this like a little bit of an angle to it. And Bad Luck is that sort of song. Like, he started to bring in these sort of like you say, it's quite atmospheric and moody and that sort of thing. It's not just like straight up aggressive stoner rock or anything, it gives you a little bit more something to think about sort of thing.
Yeah, it sounds like he's got some delay and some different chorus and effects on his guitar that really kind of fill out the sound. And it's really interesting because it almost sounds like a little like Hum. I don't know if you know those guys from the 90s. It
Yeah, yeah.
sounds a little bit like that. And then I mean I hear some Melvins in there too a little bit and the harder
I'll
edge
tell you
stuff
that.
Let's see.
and and,
I'm doubting,
and
isn't it?
Loves this.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
our first
even
day out together was watching the Melvins.
okay. Yeah, it's interesting because if you're a fan of music, you can kind of hear the influences, but it's not like you're trying to copy that band, but you can hear, oh, that's something I can kind of sounds familiar. So yeah, no, it's really good. So let's talk a little bit about the local Manchester scene and what that's like. And I know you guys have had a couple shows recently, and how is the scene? Is it really supportive, or are there lots of bands and places to play? And I'm sure people are aware of in general, music in Manchester, but as far as like the kind of music you guys play, what's that scene like?
First off, because I've never played in this type of band before. Um, the scene is incredibly friendly and supportive. All the bands that we've played with that have been mint, haven't they? They've been
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
Yeah, so and really good as well. We've played with some really good bands and played.
yeah. The whole scene is like I'm an old man now, so I don't get to go to as many gigs as I used to. But yeah, like the Manchester heavy rock and metal scene is always, as far as I remember, it's always been amazing. Like really, really good. Um, Bands who are similar to us, like at the moment, are really coming on. There's a band called Ritual King, who are an amazing band. They're doing really well. I've just toured with a band called Thousand Mods, who a Greek band who are out of this world sort of thing. So there are bands from around here that are doing something in a similar style to what we're doing and doing it exceptionally well and helping bring it to the fore and that sort of thing. And the venues in Manchester are brilliant, absolutely brilliant. There's a band called Rebellion Bar in Manchester, which it's very, very, very diverse to be fair, but it's always put on really, really decent gigs for bands that aren't that big or anything. So, it's like a proper springboard sort of venue for a lot of bands of our ilk. So the scene in Manchester has always been really good for metal and rock music and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean an excellent place to be for somewhere that rains all the time to have like like desert stone rock sort of stuff. You'll always find it here. So yeah, it's a brilliant place, Manchester for music.
Every other building's a venue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. And then from a songwriting perspective, it sounds like Nathan does a lot of the arranging, but uh, Lewis and Andy, how do you write your parts, right? I mean, obviously you could just write your own parts, or do you work together, especially as a rhythm section? How does that kind of work?
We we were kind of some of the songs, as Dave said, have already kind of had the bones there when we've come together to get together as a band and go through them. Recently, we've obviously started coming up with a lot more original stuff from the very ground up, from a starting riff to us getting together in a room and just thrashing it out over the course of, a number of practice sessions, which is where kind of Bad Luck came from. That's kind of how that developed, where we just jammed through it for a good while until we were quite happy with how the song was arranged, and then we kind of finessed it from there. So we've got now another song that we're not far off having finished. But again, that was a case of us getting together. Someone starts with with a starting riff. We kind of take it from there.
Yes,
And
recording hands is a big part of it, isn't it? So Nathan will play something, and then we record his hands. Literally, we film his hands, and then we come up with something that fits with it.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think like both our parts were not written with it.
No.
We kind of it was just labouring until we got something that worked. Yeah, and actually Dave undersells himself a little bit because he does a lot of the arranging. He, he's very good with his direction, because he has you've got a good ear.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm like the crap Frank Zappa of the band. I sit behind and I tell people what to do until it sounds like what we all like. So
Yeah.
it's good to have that element.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need some kind of organization. Otherwise, it's just a little bit too unfocused and can be,
yeah,
Oh,
and
we could jam for hours on nothing.
nothing.
Couldn't really-
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's happened
Yeah.
a few times as well.
Which is great. I love doing that as well. Yeah, but you definitely put the grammar into it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, and to that point, so what I'll do now is I'm going to play a clip of just another piece of bad luck. So you guys have talked about that, but let's have the audience check a little clip. All right, that was track 3. Just another piece of bad luck from old Painless. Their demo songs are out now. There's 4 tracks on it, and they're from Manchester in the UK. And so let's talk a little bit about social media or where people can find the music, buy the music, see you guys play. So any thoughts on that?
So yeah, so we've got all the usual social media stuff going on at the moment. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it's called nowadays. I like our main avenues of social media. It's Old Painless UK is the handle for everything that we do. So yeah, we're pushing everything that we do at the moment out through all of those. Just practices, gigs, recordings, everything that we do, we get pushed out through there at the moment. We try to connect a lot more with bands, close to home, a bit further from home. We've just recently been featured on a compilation, a guy called Fuzzy Cracklings. So he does a month thing called Name Your Price, compilation of every month it's bands who put their stuff out for Name Your Price, So we've only released a demo, so we're not charging or anything like that for downloads, but we've just been featured on the Best of April, Name Your Price, Fuzzy Cracklings recordings. So yeah, that's what we're pushing our stuff through at the moment. We just had a gig the other day. Every time we have a gig, or every time we've got like a bit of a new idea or anything like that, we push it out through our social media channels and stuff. That's what we're doing at the moment. We just try to grow our fan base. Just constantly try to find new gigs to play, and just keep on moving onwards and upwards from there, basically. And that's, like we say, we're not trying to break the mold or anything like that. We just want to play music. We want to play music to people who want to hear it. I'll play it to anybody who doesn't want to hear it, to be fair. But
Great. And is there, we're just about to wrap up here, we just have a few minutes left, but is there any thoughts around putting out a full length, which would be, 8, 10, 11 songs, something like that.
And the plan now um, is to get another guitarist in. That is definitely one of our priorities. We need somebody else in there.
We need two guitarists, basically. That's going to help with the music writing process. So we've got another guy coming in, but then the plan is to continue writing new songs, and I'll let Lewis take back over again. So
Yeah, it was just, I guess we've got the 4 demo songs now. We've been playing them for quite some time. We're happy with where they are, with the demo recordings of them. So the idea now probably is to get a few more songs in the bag, and then hopefully come maybe back end of this year, get together and record it properly, including the 4 demo songs as well. Maybe get some sort of album in place. But yeah, we've got to get those songs written first. So that's the priority.
I think the plan is to have like a full length release, incorporating most of the 4 songs we already have in some way, but like refine them and put them together as a part of a full length release sort of thing. And ideally we want to get like a full length album out by the end of the year. Get a full
Yeah,
length.
definitely something to look forward to, because
Yeah.
with an additional guitar player now, the guitar fans are really going to be blown away, because if he's anything like Nathan, it'll be really great to have a second guitar there. That's going to be
Nobody's like Nathan.
Yeah.
In case you watching this video.
Yeah, I think Nathan's trying to play 2 guitar parts at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah.
Which he pulls off very well. But yeah, it's just maybe give him a bit of space to breathe.
Yeah, looking forward to it. That'll be exciting. Yeah, we'll have you guys back on once that full length comes out. So I want to thank Old Painless from Manchester in the UK for joining me here today. It's been a really great experience, and their demo songs, which has 4 tracks, is out now on their Bandcamp. Came out April 5th. So everybody check that out. And if you're in the UK, check them out in Manchester.
Thank you, Damon.
Cheers.
So this has been Damon D. One World, One Rock.